Okay, it took me 3 times to get that done. Alrighty, let's get the clock ticking. Okay, we're going to go 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. This seems to be a good time to go. People can sit with us for 10 to 15 minutes. After that, people get busy, distracted, but it's always good to be back to pepper in a little more success building stuff. For those that are joining here as a new network marketer, this is the greatest profession in the world, I believe. I think it's the average person's best chance to do really good. And I really believe that 100%. So that's why I started this group, to help all the young bud network marketers and people that are thinking about it and people that are in the deal. There's always some stuff you can learn, even from an old dog like me. I'm from the old school, but I'm also playing good in the new school. I love the new way we do business today, which is working the streets of the internet. This would probably be better over here than behind my head. No, I tried to get in. This is the third shot, and it actually went in. You know the deal. My internal operating system is a little old on this deal. I got to replace it, and this is my studio recording laptop. And so we'll deal with that. But all is good. So we've talked here about mechanics. There are mechanics that we've got to learn. 4 mechanics. Number 1 is the 2 power options, which is use your products and talk to people. Number 2 is the 3 network marketing skills, which is making friends, sending invitations, and getting decisions. Number 3 mechanic is what I call the 8 bridges to freedom, which is a mindset thing. And this is where you either have the right mindset or you don't. If you don't have the right mindset, you do not make it too far in business, regardless if it's network marketing or any other business opportunity or business that you open up. And number 4 mechanic is the 3 stages of the adult distributor. And so this is going to take us the whole year to really cover these lessons from enough angles and articulate it in enough ways where it can click. And a lot of these recordings, not a lot, we're going to try to save most of them or some of them. We're going to save these videos, but you notice they've been deleting it, after 30 days. There's a lot of repetition, and sometimes you'll listen to one video and then the next, and it's almost the same thing. But that's because you have to hear it again. And I can't graduate to the next point and get into depth about it until you've got the first deal down. And so I'm just going to say that you understand the power options. You must understand these power options. If you're in business, right, you got to eat your own pizza. You got to eat your own food. You got to drive your own cars. You got to use your own products. If you're in business, whatever business that is, you got to use your stuff. You've got to be, and that's what powers you as an operator. You can talk about what you use. It's really a lot simpler than being a salesperson and selling stuff that maybe you don't use, right? So we're not talking about sales. We're talking about networking, and we're talking about just sharing results and talking to people about simple stuff like how to use the products. And that's why I love SmoothieText.com, because smoothies, pretty simple, right? You take your smoothie mix, take 2 scoops, put it in your blender, put in the water or milk or whatever the beverage, put in some frozen fruit. I love strawberries, blueberries, blend it up, drink it down, voila, pretty simple. And the good news is anybody can use the product, so anybody can have that power operating in their business. And then talking to people. And talking to people is where we really get into a lot of depth. That's the good thing. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a food scientist. You don't have to be an expert in nutrition. All you have to do is know, how to use your products, and you use the products. Pretty simple. A couple scoops, a couple of these, frozen this, blend it up, 60 seconds, drink it down, right? That's why I've always loved the simplicity of, the smoothie business. And today, it's bigger than ever, and it's going to increase by like 35-40% over the next decade. So the big business is still coming. I mean, this is just amazing. Everybody loves smoothies today. It's like, what are you having for coffee? Do you like your coffee with cream, or do you like it with sugar? What do you like? How you like it black? How do you like it? I drink more tea, but you get the point. We want to make our smoothies a household name. So use the products, talk to people. That's the power option. That's what powers your business. This is where, if you're going to fail, this is where most people fail in business as a network marketer. In my organization, I've seen it over the years 100 times, 300 times, probably 400 or 500 times. The people that fail don't use the products and they don't talk to people, so you're out of business. It's that simple. So it's easy to do, which is use the products and talk to people. It's pretty easy to do, right? And you don't have to know much. Just 2 scoops, blend it up, throw in this, do that, 60 seconds, drink it down, feel the difference. Pretty simple. But it's also simple not to do. And that's what people do. I can't comprehend it. I never had a problem with using the products. I'm still a product of the product today. I've been drinking my healthy smoothies every day since 1987. My wife, my mom, my kids, they grew up having it, and, friends and family. Not a lot of people in my family use my smoothies. We do have customers, but you don't have to depend on your family to build your business. Thank God. I would have been out of business the first year if I had to depend on my family and friends. But I have some family members and some friends that have been customers, for years, and that's cool. But the big news is the big business, which is the people you don't know and the people that you're meeting all the time and the new friends you're making. And so talking to people becomes also pretty easy. And today, especially, because most of the talking we do today, well, we do a lot of talking with text, but the talking we do today is, you can do it right from your home. You can do it from your smartphone. You can do it from, your family room, your living room. You can do it from your basement office. You can do it from the beach. You can do it from wherever, as long as you have your smartphone. There's 5 billion people or so in the palm of your hand. So that's pretty cool. So we're always going to be working on that. So we're going to take the whole year to go into the ways of talking to people. The 3 network marketing skills: make friends, send invitations, and get decisions. We're going to get into lots of details about that, but you need to get these mechanics down because you can start practicing these now. Even if you're not yet a representative or an ambassador with a company, you're not a partnership with a manufacturer yet, no problem. If you do want to get started as a partner, listen, I've got a free business model. You can start with me. Smoothie Text doesn't take anything to get started. You subscribe to smoothietext.com. You'll get text messages every day of different smoothie mixes. If you see one you like, click one, text one, and then send, and a canister of that flavor will come to your home. Now you can start using the products, and then you like the stuff. It tastes great. You feel good after a couple of weeks. You notice the difference, and you can start talking to people. So it really doesn't cost anything, You're going to be drinking something every day. You might as well drink something that's going to be good for you. So the 3 network marketing skills, right? That's number 2 mechanic. Number 1, when I say what is the first mechanic as to be a successful network marketer, what's mechanic number 1? You need to know the 2 power options, and you're always working on it. If I say what's mechanic number 2, you need to know that's the 3 network marketing skills, which is make friends. And on social media today, it's easier than ever to make so many friends. You can have 100 conversations going in 30 days, like that. And now you can send invitations and get decisions. And number 3 mechanic is the 8 bridges to freedom. And this is a mindset business. Really what's interesting is network marketing is really a personal development industry that profits from products. And the personal development is the driving force behind the sales, behind the growth, is the personal development. The greater the responsibility is, the greater the authority must be. So being in business for yourself, you don't have a boss looking over your shoulder. There's a lot of responsibility. You wake up in the morning and no one's there to tell you what to do. Except that's what this is for. Because you need that. You need to have a workout partner. So consider me your workout partner, your work partner. And I'll be here for you. You can also, you can go live with me and DM me if you need help, and we can set up, discovery sessions to help you along the way. But yeah, the responsibility that goes with this is big. But what you need to do is not difficult. That's the good news. But it is important to understand mechanic number 3, and really, let's just go through this, and we'll put more meat on the bone throughout the year. So we're gonna just kind of lay out the framework, kind of lay out the blueprint, and put it all in front of you so you know what it all is, what it all means, and what this measurement is, and what this line is, and what that room is, and all that stuff, and what this material is. So then when we have everybody at another level of understanding, you're maturing as a distributor, then when we talk, we're really starting to make progress, because the clearer you get, the faster you're going to take action and the more success you're going to have. So there's these 8 mindsets, these 8 mental things, bridges that I call them. They're invisible bridges that we have to deal with all the time. And once you understand using the products and talking to people, and you understand that, power option number 1 and number 2, which is mechanic number 1, and there's 2 power options. Why are they power options? You know why? Because it's your option. You have choice. You have your own volition. You're either going to use because no one's going to knock on your door and say, ding dong, hey, Joe, did you take your smoothie today? No, I'm not going to call you and say, hey, did you drink your smoothie today, right? No, because you can do that. You don't need someone to do that with you, right? Of course, we always help each other with that. But then talking to people, same deal. You've got to be the one that's self-determined. You've got to take on that great responsibility. And where there's great responsibility, there's also great authority. That authority must go with it. So consider me like an authority, right? And be teachable. Teachability is so important. Be a good student. This is not difficult. This is a lot of fun when you just loosen up. Don't worry about any failures or any frustrations, or don't worry about doing it sucky in the beginning. When you talk to people, you feel intimidated, you don't know enough. Listen, we all had to start there, right? So get over yourself and just focus on growing in the knowledge of being a successful network marketer. But number 1 bridge, this mental bridge you got to cross every day, is you got to let go of fear, or you're not going to talk to people. If you don't let go of fear, you're going to have a real problem, because what's a big fear people have? Talking to people, right? Not necessarily one-on-one. But, when I was in school, if I had to get up and go to English class in the morning, and I was always late for school. I always missed first class. I was just not a good student. But if I was at English, if I had to give an oral book report, I definitely wasn't going to English class. Why? Because what's the number 1 fear people have? Well, 1 or 2 anyways, is what? Talking to crowds of people, right? That's scary, right? Because you don't want to look like a jerk. You don't want to look stupid. You don't want to look foolish. You don't want to look, like you don't know what you're talking about. But that's how we all start. And we all have to go through that looking like a fool. We all have to go through that. And by the way, the fool is in our own minds. We really don't look like a fool or sound like a fool when we talk to people and we're not totally clear on things. But at the end, we judge ourselves and we don't think we're good enough. We talk ourselves right out of business as easy as we talk ourselves into business. So you have to let go of fear. Now, the whole year, we're going to be harping on this stuff. We're going to be going over this stuff. So it's in your frame of reference. And now just from the way you think, you've got the mindset of a successful network marketer. So my objective is to help you think like a successful network marketer. And all successful network marketers have to let go of fear. And by the way, we all have to deal with it, not just you. And even for me, not like it used to be, I'll be honest with you, because you do things enough times, it's, that kind of goes away. But it's still there. It's there. I got to make myself do this. This isn't something I do naturally. You know why I do it? Because of the value I know that I bring to others, and I feel obligated because I have so much to offer somebody that's willing to listen and follow instructions. It'll change their life. And just having that potential of doing that with somebody, it's exciting to me. But also, the more I do this, I also get a lot of benefit from this too. I get lots of value sharing this with you. So let go of fear. But we're also going to have to work on our plan. And we'll be working on our plan every week. We're working on our plan. So these mental bridges that we all have to cross, we all have to cross this. We all have to let go of fear. We all have to have a plan. And then we all have to be very teachable. Teachability is going to be very big. If you're going to make it in network marketing, you better be teachable. Teachability means you learn it and then you do it. And you don't worry about the results. You just learn it and you do it. And then you're going to have to understand the importance of consistency. So these are these mental bridges that we have to cross. And if you're at bridge number 4, which is staying consistent, a mental bridge that we have to cross every day, if you get stuck at that bridge all the time, you can't stay consistent for more than a day or two, you're going to be struggling until you break through that bad habit of not being consistent. You're going to be consistent at being consistent. At doing what? Use your products, talk to people, right? Basically, because that's the power that powers your business. It's really that simple. If you just use the products, talk to people, and you do that with me this year and let me help you, you'll probably do this for the rest of your life because of the success that you'll have, the confidence that you'll build, and you'll feel so good about having the ability to teach other people how to make money, how to get healthy, and how to build a business. This is very good. And then you're also going to have to cross bridge number 5, which is you really want to learn to love what you do for work. And I hope that as much as I love what I do, you'll also grow into that love for network marketing. And again, having the right product. Listen, I love healthy smoothies. You know why? Before smoothies were cool, I was talking to my friends in high school about drinking this stuff, taking this vitamin, you know what I mean? So I was always into the health foods, even in high school, even in junior high school. I'd go to the little corner health food store, and there was a little old lady in there, right? She's like 4'11", and old gray hair like here, and just a little old lady selling her vitamins. And I'd go in there and I'd look at all the stuff on the counter and on the cabinet, and I'd just look at all this stuff, and I'd look at and she'd come over and tell me what this does and that does. And I was always into that stuff. And if I had the money, I'd buy me a bottle of desiccated liver, which was like a big thing back then. So I was always into it. So I loved getting into this, food supplement industry, right? Before this, I was in the automotive industry. I sold Cadillacs. That was cool. I grew up with cars. My father was a car designer, so I thought that's what I would do. But it just wasn't my gig. I didn't get so excited about that. Plus, you can't really, unless you're going to be you can do well in that business. I'm sorry. But you can't build residuals. You can't build, that kind of thing. And it isn't like building a business that will last a lifetime, which is pretty motivating. And having that legacy that you could pass down to your kids. Of course, owning a car dealership is pretty cool too. I got a couple friends that own car dealerships, right? But this is cool for me. I like simple, easy, and with a lot of potential. And then you're also not only going to have to love what you do for work, and we're going to talk about how you can grow into this love. You have to have this impersonal love for all people. If you struggle with people, then you're going to struggle in business. You're going to struggle with, building your network marketing business. You got to have an impersonal love for people. You know what that means? Who cares what they do? See, people, what they do, whether they buy your products, join your business, or rain in your parade and call you a weirdo and say, don't ever talk to me again, that stuff is stupid. If that stuff is going to get to you, we're going to have to thicken your skin. And you're going to have to learn how to appreciate and still love those people, and with an impersonal love, and not have attitude about it. Because if you have attitude about one bad person and you get 10, 20 bad people in 6 months or 5 months or 3 months, or the first 10 people you talk to just don't like what you got to talk about, you're going to develop a callus, you're going to develop scar tissue in your mind, and it's very hard to get rid of that, and you start having a bad attitude about people. And that doesn't help you in business, and you'll be out of business. So we're going to work on how do you develop this impersonal love for all people. And they actually, I'll tell you what, I get empowered when people are negative. I get empowered when people rain on my parade. I get empowered in a humble way, not an arrogant way, where it's like, I'll show you. No, I was like that early on, right? And you don't want to have this inordinate competition. You want to have like a feeling of, you kind of feel sorry for them because they just don't see what you see. And chances are they're not going to have a good, healthy life, a fitness life. They're probably not going to get all the nutrition they need. And they're probably going to end up in 10 years overweight, on medication, dealing with health problems like so many others. Although things are changing. Listen, if there's ever been a time to get involved here as an Herbalife distributor and be part of this organization of people that I'm developing here, is now, because the whole country is like getting on a health kick. They're really getting it together and understanding the power of protein and understanding the power of good nutrition. And people are, this is really a good time to get involved. And they need, listen, we now know that like 65, almost 70% of the population is overweight on medication, and that it's starting with the young kids. So this is generational. So we've got a lot of work to do. But you have to have impersonal love for people. You can't let people bum you out, and you got to get over that. And that's all part of the fourth mechanic, which is the 3 stages of the adult distributor. The adult distributors, they get empowered by people that say no. They get empowered by people that, have a bad opinion about what we do. They get empowered by that in a positive way, in a caring way. See, there's a difference. So you got to have that. And number 7, this bridge you're going to have to cross every day. You're going to be tested every day. We're going to go into testing and how important that is. And but you can't, don't be naive. It isn't like you go into business and everything goes smoothly. No, you go into business for yourself and you're going to be tested every day. But there's only 3 or 4 tests that you have to pass. And when you understand these 8 bridges to freedom, these mental bridges you have to cross, they don't change. They stay the same. They'll always be there. People will always have to deal with fear. They'll always have to have a plan. They'll always have to be teachable. They'll always have to stay consistent. They'll always have to, love what they do for work. Listen, it's very hard to have a happy, healthy life if you go to work every day and it's like miserable, right? I mean, that puts so much stress on you. They'll always have to have, if you're going to be successful, they'll always have to be greater and, at a higher, when people go low, you go high, right? Easier said than done. But when you do it, it's empowering, and they'll always be tested. And they'll know. I know every day there's going to be new tests. I am excited about those tests, and I'm prepared for them, and I look forward to passing those tests. Not like when I was in school. I struggled with tests. If I had tests, I wasn't going in that day. That was a day I missed, right? I don't know how I graduated high school. I thank God. I was a good guy, though. I had good friends. I was friends with everybody. I was a good athlete. I had manners. I was polite. You know what I mean? I wasn't a troublemaker in school. But academically, I just wasn't into it, right? And then I realized after school, man, that's when things really got serious and you had to be a good student. But you're going to be tested. And I enjoy tests today. They make us who we are. You either pass them or you don't. And then the last thing you want to do is go to bed every night feeling like a winner. And that's a bridge we all have to cross. When you go to bed at night, if you don't feel good about your life, you got to fix that. And we're going to talk about how that's fixed. It actually is fixed by crossing these 8 bridges that I'm going to be sharing with you. And we're going to be, harping on this stuff throughout the year. So we got so much to talk about. I keep kind of getting down and laying a little bit more. You hear the same stuff. It's repetition, right? But listen, inculcation, getting that, you got to hear it again until it's locked into your head. So you know what are the 4 mechanics to be a successful Herbalife distributor. You see, you have to know what are the 3 network marketing skills. What are the 8 bridges to freedom? You have to know what are the 2 power options that run your business. And when you know these 4 mechanics, when you master these 4 mechanics, you too can walk with the legends in network marketing. So we'll be back again. And remember, if you need some contact with me sooner, just DM me and we'll start talking a little bit more. Okay, God bless, and we'll be back again next week. Bye-bye.